right. Well, today was a not so hot day. Today definitely was not a super hot day, but it was pretty active. It was rainy, at least where I was. I know that everybody did not see rainfall today, but a good amount of us did. And as you can see by the screen, the main topic for tonight, storms fade, but dangerous. 110-degree heat is ready to return. That's all of the stuff that we are going to mainly focus on today. We have some other stuff we're going to touch on, like number one, cooler weather obviously moving out. Lingering heavy rainfall and a few strong storms may continue into Wednesday. Dangerous heat. Dangerous heat is on the way back as we go into Thursday onward. And a cold front may even bring in some more storm chances as we go into this weekend. Maybe even into early next week, bringing in another cool down and maybe even one after that. So, a lot of things to go on and talk about as we go into tonight. If you've not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please go on and do so. Also hit the share button. Share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, and people that you don't talk to regularly because it's free and it always will be. Starting off, what is currently going on right now as we speak? Well, it seems like we do have some scattered shower and downpour activity, rather it be from the Midlands to the PD areas over in the southern Midlands. I mean, it looks like rainfall activity definitely is going on, even in the low country, near Ridgeland, over near Dale, South Carolina. Seems like some rainfall is going on over here. Now, what's going on throughout the entire U.S.? It does look like we have some shower activity, some storm activity through Florida, maybe even some more shower activity through Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, getting in on some shower activity. Texas getting in on some, definitely some considerable flooding over there. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to any weather news at all today, but I've seen a bunch of stories about the flooding currently going on in Texas right now. We also have some severe weather up there in Montana, some more flooding down in Nevada, Arizona, and then even in Utah. And then obviously we have our severe weather going on up here inside of the New England areas. I think that is trying to cool down a little bit, but I mean, as nothing else is really going on. But it does expire in the next 7 hours, so I think they still do have a long way to go there. Now, cloud cover for the most part seems to be pretty like mostly cloudy almost statewide. You see cloud cover all the way from the upstate down to the coastal area, so cloud cover definitely is going on. And if we go and take a look at our cloud cover for the future, you're going to move into tonight, going into tomorrow morning. Cloud cover activity does go on even as you move into tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. More cloud cover activity, and one thing that I am noticing is the entire state's not getting completely covered, even as you get into tomorrow evening, going into tomorrow night, and even Thursday morning. Cloud cover activity starts to kind of fade away a little bit, actually. Then as we go over into Thursday afternoon, things continue to try and pop up a little bit as we get back to our shower and thunderstorm activity, our summertime shower and thunderstorm activity. Now, in terms of cloud cover, not cloud cover, current temperatures, excuse me, you're talking about 78 in Beaufort, 79 Hilton Head Island, even around 77 in Somerville, 79 Charleston and Georgetown, even 80 in Myrtle Beach, 78 in Conway, and 77 in Orangeburg, 80 in Columbia, and 80 inside of Hartsville, even 81 in Rock Hill, 73 Greenville, 74 in Clemson and Anderson, even 75 in Spartanburg. Now, in terms of air quality, it looks like for the most part about the same as this morning. We're looking at a moderate risk of air quality from Spartanburg over near to Florence, up and down I-95 over there. If you're in the yellow areas for tonight, just make sure that you are paying attention for it. And then for our low temperatures tonight, we're talking about 68 Greenville, 67 in Spartanburg, Rock Hill, Lawrence, even 70 in Columbia, 71 in Sumter, and even 69 in Kingstree, 71 in Moncks Corner, and 75 in Charleston, 76 Hilton Head Island, and 72 in Georgetown, 75 in Myrtle Beach. High temperatures for tomorrow, we're talking about 88 in Greenville, 89 Spartanburg, and 91 in Columbia, 90 Orangeburg and Moncks Corner, 90 Walterboro, 89 in Charleston, even Georgetown, 88 Myrtle Beach, and 91 in Hilton Head Island. Now, in terms of rainfall honestly looks like it is going to kind of recede a little bit as it has been for the past couple of days. We know that we had obviously a low pressure system try to move its way through, and that brought in widespread, if not regionally widespread rainfall throughout a good amount of the state. And now we're looking at it to a point to where now it's looking back to being more scattered and more on that time frame and more just kind of towards the regular summertime pattern, which is what we're expecting. Now, tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch in areas like Aiken, Barnwell, Charleston. Half an inch to an inch still possible in Hilton Island, maybe even a hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch in Moncks Corner and Walterboro. And there is a lot of other areas that are included, like Orangeburg, maybe in that hundredth of an inch to a tenth of an inch. Greenwood, Newberry, maybe in there as well. Now, in terms of the SPC outlook, this was the latest one that they had out when I checked it. But obviously, we know they like to update it around this time, and it seems like that they have not. Actually, they did update it. They updated it at 7:59. When I believe this is around the same, actually. So I think this is actually the most up-to-date one. And it's 7:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time, not Eastern Time. So around 8:59 p.m. Eastern Time is when they updated this. So this seems like it is the right one. Thunderstorms are possible still. Doesn't matter, where you are in the state. Thunderstorms are still possible. You still have the ingredients. And if I go in and check out the flash rate, seeing, if we do have any thunderstorms going on in general, we're going to move to the MRMS and we're going to move over to the 30 minutes lightning probability. I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything right now. So I'm not really too concerned about any thunderstorms right now throughout the state. But it still could happen later on. Now, tomorrow, again, thunderstorms are still possible. Almost statewide. Rock Hill's not included in there, though, and a couple of other areas in the northern PD areas. Thursday, another risk of thunderstorm activity again from the upstate down towards like the low country coastline over into the Grand Strand areas. And then if you look over near Myrtle Beach, you look over up in those northern PD areas, once again, thunderstorm activity not expected for Thursday. Excessive rainfall is also another risk to go in and take a look at. If you're in the yellow, you have a slight risk of excessive rainfall for tonight. That includes Charleston, that includes Beaufort, and if I go in and scroll my way in, that includes Somerville, that includes North Charleston, that includes Walterboro, that includes Ridgeland, and a lot of these other areas that are in here, in this yellow area that has a 15% risk of flash flooding. Now, if you're in the light green, you have a 5%. That's for Anderson, for Greenwood, for Orangeburg, also going on into Sumter, Florence, Myrtle Beach, Conway, Georgetown. These areas have a 5% risk of flash flooding. Crazy score right now, we have an 11. We have an 11 right now. The reason why, well, there's not a whole lot going on except for just those couple of showers and, downpours that's going on right now. And then we have some coastal flood advisories going on. That's why we have the 3 points down there at the on the left side there. Also, cloud cover also can kind of add in a little bit as well. But those coastal flood advisories being the 3 from Horry County down through Georgetown County, Charleston County, and then the coastal areas down in the lower low country. Now, what's going on in terms of models? Make sure you pay attention to the model's time. That's at the bottom part of the screen. Very important that you go in and pay attention to that, because if you lose track of that, there's a good chance that you could lose track of where we are and get things confused, and we don't want anybody to be confused, obviously. So we're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m., and just watch as we move this into tonight. This is 12 o'clock in the morning, and you're still seeing some moisture going on from in the state. You go over into around 3 o'clock in the morning, you go all the way to 6 o'clock in the morning, all the way to 8 a.m., and you're still seeing some isolated showers, maybe like here and there. But I think once you get later on into like the later morning, things really start to calm down. Here's noon tomorrow, 12 o'clock p.m. Showers and storms off the coast, maybe in Georgia, maybe in North Carolina, but not in South Carolina though. We go all the way into 2 o'clock p.m., 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock p.m. or so. And rainfall, thunderstorm activity seems to be starting to pop up now in the low country areas, and we kind of see a little bit more in the midland areas as well, but that dissipates pretty quickly. Low country still getting on some storm activity by 4 p.m., and then as you move into like the evening hours, going into the nighttime hours, it looks calm. We get to around 12 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and it looks nice and dry all throughout the night going into Thursday morning, and then we're back to seeing more shower and storm activity, regular summertime shower and storm activity going into Thursday afternoon. Now, if we go on and take a look at our long-term future, so past Thursday at 2 o'clock p.m., It looks like that Thursday is going to be a regular day. Friday is going to be a regular summertime thunderstorm day, to where we see some pop-up showers and storms here and there. We go into Saturday, and it does look like that we are still just receiving some of that pop-up shower and storm activity. Now watch as we go into Sunday. You start to see some more moisture, maybe trying to make its way through. And you do kind of see that more as we get into maybe a little bit into Saturday as well. But mainly Sunday. Then Monday comes in and things, again, just look back to being normal. I mean, I'm not seeing anything too widespread until we get into maybe midweek next week going into later on. Watch Wednesday of next week going into Thursday. Wednesday of next week going into Thursday of next week. Looks like that we could have a low pressure system, a cold front, maybe some flash flooding, maybe some severe storms, maybe trying to make its presence known as we go into midweek of next week. That's a possibility. You go into Thursday, same thing. But then Friday, things start to, kind of calm down a little bit. Not too much, but it tries to at least. Sunday of next weekend, again, another storm system maybe trying to come in. Then as we push it forward even more, it gets a little bit, unreliable. So it's not really too much worth of talking about it, September or not September. I don't know why I'm thinking about September right now, but not really a point of going all the way through July, like the 28th, the 29th, the 30th or so, just because that's over 300 plus hours. Now, one thing that we can notice if we just look at it pattern wise, it does look like it's going to continue to stay active. I mean, it looks like the last couple of days, last 5 or 6 days of July could be pretty active, and I think that the CPC may be able to go on and back me up here as we go on and look at the Climate Prediction Center, and we look at our precipitation as we move into July the 22nd and July the 28th. Again, this is from the officials here. Even the officials here at the Climate Prediction Center are also saying throughout July 22nd and July 28th, above normal precipitation is possible. I mean, it's a 33 to a 40% chance of above normal precipitation as we move into July the 22nd through July the 28th. So I'm not the only one that's saying this. Not the only one that's saying this at all. Now, as we look forward even into our actual like totals, here's our 384 here or so. And if we go in and take a look at the GEFS, it does look like that most of us are going to receive around 2 inches to around 4 inches, maybe even a little bit more. Like I see 4.8 in some spots. I see around 4.5 or so in some spots. So around 2 to 5 inches or so over the next 384 hours for us here inside the state of South Carolina on an average basis. Now, the European has a little bit less, maybe around 1.5 inches, maybe to around 3 to 4 inches. But again, that's not bad. Not bad at all. So now with precipitation out the way, what about temperatures? Well, temperature-wise, the whole point or the whole main purpose for today is storms fade, but dangerous heat, dangerous 110 degrees plus heat is ready to return. And so we kind of already saw the storm aspect. We saw that the storms are that from yesterday and today are kind of gonna like go away, and we're gonna get back to just our summertime pattern. And then the temperatures now, as we go in and start this off into tonight, we can see that it's going to be near normal, or maybe a little bit below average. But watch as we start off into Wednesday. Wednesday comes in. A lot of us are trying to be above average. A couple of us maybe a little bit more below average. But a good amount of us are starting to be above average. We go into Thursday. Thursday is when things start to really hit the fan. We're talking about 10 degrees above average in some spots on Thursday. What about Friday? Friday comes in, and we now have some spots 10 to 12 to 13 degrees above average. Saturday comes in. Once again, somewhere near that 10 to, 13, 14 degrees above average mark moving into Saturday. But then, like I said, some cooler air may be trying to move in as we go into this weekend. It may, calm down just a little bit, but we're still going to be above average in terms of our anomalies here, especially as we move into Sunday. Monday comes in, still around 10 to 11 degrees above average. And as you move through Tuesday, going into Wednesday, Wednesday is the day that I'm really taking a look at for sure, just because that's the day that the GFS is saying that we could have a cold front with a pretty big storm system try to move its way through the state. And as you can see, as we move into Thursday, 10 degrees below average in some spots, mainly around 6 to 10. I see 9 to 10 in some spots. And then as you move into Friday of next week, again, still looking like it could be below average. So the heat, it's going to definitely be here. It's for sure going to be here, but may not last as long. So the heat, honestly, if we took the title from, I forgot what day it was, where I said the cool down won't last too long, honestly, the heat won't last too long either. And then even if you look, past towards the end of the month, I know this is over 300 hours and probably pointless to look at, but another big cold air blast may be trying to move in later towards the end of July. We'll see what the ensembles have to say there, though. And then as we take a look over at the actual temperatures themselves, we go into Wednesday, we go into Thursday, or so we know what tomorrow is looking like. Thursday, we're back up into the hundreds. Friday, even trying to bring us into the hundreds as well. This weekend, we're still going to be hot, even though, we may get a little bit of a cool down. Like Sunday, for example, we may not reach the hundreds, but, it's still going to be hot regardless. Monday comes in, and we're back up to past 100 in a lot of areas. And then Wednesday comes in. Wednesday and Thursday comes in. And we see, some high temperatures on Wednesday, but Thursday, I see some high temperatures in the upper 80s and maybe the lower 90s as we move into next week, Thursday. Friday comes in, and again, we're back to around the mid 90s or so. So cool downs are definitely coming, rather it be next week or maybe even the week after. Now, in terms of our heat index values, because obviously that is pretty important, and that's, the whole reason why I said 110 degrees, and that's really because as we move into even the next, 3 days or so, there could be a couple of us that could potentially reach 110 as a heat index value. I mean, you can even see 108 over there near Florence, I think, 105, Columbia, Sumter on Friday. We move over into Saturday, a lot of us still, that 105 point. Monday comes in, and we're still somewhere around 104, 105 or so. And so heat index values will still be as persistent as they have been. Now let's go in and take a look at the ensembles past 200 hours, because as we know, as we go around 198 hours out or so, things start to kind of get a little bit more unreliable. So we're going to look at the ensembles here, and the ensembles on a pattern standpoint kind of has us on the lower end as we move towards the end of July. So even the mean output of models kind of have us, have us like at a mean of around 92, 91 as a high as we go into Thursday of, what is that? Thursday the 30th there. So a lot of that 200 to 384 hour time frame could be a cool down period. Now, obviously, we will have hot temperatures during that time period, but there is strong confidence. There is strong confidence that a cool down could be happening during that time period. When? We're just going to have to wait and find out. And so that pretty much wraps up the main part. Storms fade, but dangerous. 110 degrees heat is ready to return. So now let's go on and talk about the tropics, because we talked about it. We've been talking about it for the past couple of days because we've seen some increase in the models in terms of probability of storms going on in the Atlantic. And first off, we always start off by showing the actual tropical weather outlook. Right now, tropical cyclone activity is not expected over the next 7 days, according to the National Hurricane Center. So nothing official is on the board quite yet. But one thing that I am looking at right now is the ensembles. And so yesterday we were talking about the Euro AI model, the AIFS here. And then we also were talking about the European, I think the day before last. And we've been seeing, some input here from the models. And so there's 2 areas I'm going to be looking at for today. 2 areas for tonight. One of them is in the Gulf, and it's for this weekend. You can see over here in the Gulf, you see like these numbers over here. You see 10, you see 7, you see 3, you see 8, you see 6, you see 7, you see again 8. Again, kind of it's pretty small, but you can kind of see this area of numbers. That's the red areas. That's the low pressure areas. So red equals low pressure, right? Right? And then you see the blue numbers over here. You see 22, 23, 24. That's the blue. That's the high pressure area, right? Right? So we all can see this. We all get that. So watch as we go. We're going to go back real quick, and then watch as we go into, this is the AIFS model right here. As you move into the 17th, going over into the 18th, even into the 19th. This is the 19th at 2 p.m. or so. Look at the implosion, I should say, of low pressure system that's starting to form, and the confidence of a low pressure starting to form as we go into this weekend here. And as you continue to kind of push it forward, you can see it start to spread out a little bit more, even into like the 20th or so. Even as you go into like the 21st, the 22nd, you can kind of see it starting to go around here and there. You have a couple of them dropping to around a 984. I see 988 there. I see a 999. And then I see some that's low, like a 1,000 or high, that's like a 1,005. I see 1,004, 1,008. So overall, numbers are still all over the place right now. They definitely are. And so I think that we're just going to have to continue to watch for it. I know it's, we're getting outside now of that 7-day time frame. We're like around maybe 5 or 6 days or so out from now, but they still don't have enough confidence at the National Hurricane Center to put anything on it yet. So that's the first area. And even if we go on and look at the European, I mean, one major reason is that, other ensembles aren't really catching up on it. Here's the European one. The European only shows like a couple, and that's it. Look at the GEFS. The GEFS shows high pressure areas, so that's not, favorable at all. And then the GEPS has a couple of areas near Florida, but again, that's not really doing anything. I mean, you kind of see it spreading out a little bit throughout the state. And even if you go and look at for example, the GFS, looking over into the actual precipitation rates here, the GFS, as you move into like the 19th, the 20th, doesn't really show any major rainfall events. So overall, things aren't really looking too favorable here for, any sort of major development to really occur. Just like a plume of moisture at that point that may cause, flash flooding issues in parts of Florida, may bring in beneficial rainfall over into like Georgia and Alabama. Now, there is another area that I'm wanting to watch for. And if we go on and move into the icon real quick, you can see it down here at the bottom part of your screen. It's on the 19th again at 2 o'clock p.m. time at the top right corner of the screen. There goes the low pressure over here. And again, this is around the 19th, going to like the 18th, going to the 19th or so. And so you see how it spins its way off the coast of Africa. This is Africa over here on the eastern side or on the right side of your screen. And then there goes the plume of moisture that we're looking for. That's going to continue to move its way forward and kind of just away from it and start to develop a little bit. Again, that's the 19th. That's 5 days out or so. And guess what? The National Hurricane Center still has not said much about it yet. But if we go and look at the European has some input, maybe not as organized, but it does have something there. The GFS, again, has something there as well, but it kind of isn't really that organized, and it kind of just fizzles out pretty quickly. The Canadian model, this one kind of has it moving forward, but again, not organized at all, not showing any signs of real rotation. And even if you go on and take a look at the actual shear itself, if I go back to the icon here, you can kind of see it over here with the low pressure here, with some of these winds kind of going on more towards the north and east here. But overall, not all models are saying this. This is really the only one that's kind of saying it here. And so that's pretty much all that I have to say here for the tropics, though. I mean, low confidence in a couple of things going on, but it's not really something that we should just ignore right now, I should say. Not really something that we should just completely ignore. But that's all I have to say here for tonight, and that's the main part of the forecast done. So let's go on, because there's no earthquakes that occurred today throughout the state. Let's go and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us here at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. I'm going to scroll my way in. Starting off over here inside the chat. My Aunt Lulu was here first tonight. She says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Hopefully everyone had a blessed day. Well, thank you so much for that. My Nana says, hello, Jay and all. Hello to you. My Aunt Lulu again says today in Georgetown it was around 83 degrees. Currently it's around 79. Well, at my house right now, it is currently 80, and the high temperature for today was around 85. My Nana says, a nice little showery day. Thank you so much for that weather report for where you are. Then Maya Lewis says today we did have some light rain showers. Again, thank you so much for that as well. My Nana says thanks for your help today. No problem at all. And then Maya Lewis says today's high of 83 felt like around 88. Mr. Michael comes in and says, remember when we wanted warmer weather back in winter, we receive what we asked for. Well, absolutely. And I honestly think that, we will continue to see cool downs, like I said, here and there. But I mean, warmer weather of up to 110 degrees, that type of weather's coming back. So we'll be wanting cool downs pretty soon. I think that a lot of us enjoyed the one that we had yesterday and today, even though some may not really say it's a cool down. In technical terms, it was. My Aunt Lulu then says it was a great day in spite of the shower. My cousin Cheryl says, good evening, weatherman. Hope all is well. Good evening, everyone. I hope everyone is doing good. I'm listening. I'm at work. Be blessed, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Well, thank you so much for that. Same to you. Then Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Trail says, greetings, everyone. Greetings to both of you. And thank you so much for being here for tonight. And that's all that I can see here in terms of the chat for right now. So we're going to go on real quick. And first off, give the top fan question of the night for tonight. If you don't know what the top fan question of the night is, it's a question that we ask every night, and we go in and see who was paying attention. Who was paying attention? And I think I want to ask something. Okay, I think I'm going to try and ask something. I'm trying to think, should it be from the tropics? Or should it be from the high and low temperatures? Or it could be from the air quality. But I'm gonna ask a low temperature question. What was, and this one, I've asked this question many of times before, and I think that a lot of people could actually get this pretty quickly. What was the highest low temperature for tonight? What was the highest low temperature for tonight? Again, what was the highest low temperature for tonight? You have to be a subscriber to type inside the chat if you want to participate. But again, what was the highest low temperature for tonight? If you answer it first, you'll get top fan of the night for tonight. So let's go in and talk about the 3 areas outside of South Carolina. You might be asking 3 areas. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these 3 areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly. And because they tune in almost nightly, we go in and give them their forecast for them. Starting off with Raleigh, North Carolina first, we have low temperatures tonight at 66, high temperatures for tomorrow at 95, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 71. No precipitation tonight or tomorrow, but next chance of rainfall will probably be around Saturday or so. 30% chance of shower and storm activity there. And then temperature-wise, you're going to continue to be hot. 100 degrees on Friday, 99 degrees on Thursday, and then even 97 on Saturday as well. So it's going to continue to stay hot for you. No severe weather, though, and no excessive rainfall for you. I see one answer inside the chat. It says 79. No, that is not the correct answer, but I will make an exception and say that if you want to put the location of where the high temperature is, where it actually is, you can go in and do that as well. So you can either give me the number or you can give me the location for where it is. And either one will be a correct answer for you. But no, 79, it's lower than that. Now for Philadelphia. You have low temperatures tonight at 76, high temperatures for tomorrow at 101 degrees. In fact, you have an extreme heat warning for tomorrow, with heat index values of up to 105 for tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, low temperature is 77. You have a slight chance of thunderstorm activity tomorrow night. Now, in terms of severe weather for you, you do have a risk for tomorrow, I guess tomorrow night. Marginal risk of severe weather, isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour is possible for you as you move into tomorrow night. So make sure you're paying attention there. And then you also have a risk of isolated flash flooding on Saturday. So no, not tomorrow, but on Saturday, isolated flash flooding for you is possible. Then as we go on and move into your future, it does look like that you will continue to stay up into the 90s until this weekend. You'll be like in the 80s or so. Monday of next week, you'll be back into the 90s once again. Rainfall wise, you're also going to continue to stay pretty dry as you move into Thursday and Friday, but going on to the rest of the weekend, going into next week, you're going to continue to stay active. And then finally for Duncan, Oklahoma, you have low temperatures tonight at 69, high temperature for tomorrow at 90, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 69. They actually just updated that, so 69 actually. No precipitation tonight. Chance of shower activity. Excuse me. Tomorrow with maybe some thunderstorm activity, and then tomorrow night, slight chance of thunderstorms. Not only that, but patchy fog is expected tonight and tomorrow. Now, as we go on and take a look at your severe weather for you, no severe weather is expected. And then in terms of your future, temperature-wise, you're going to continue to stay up into the 90s even as you go into later on into next weekend, around 94 on Saturday, 98 on Sunday, and then guess what? Next week, you're up to 100. Spartanburg, not a correct answer. It's on the opposite side of the state, actually. So not in the upstate, not in the Midlands, and not inside of the PD area. Now, as we go on and take a look into the entire U.S., in terms of weather news, it says a significant heat wave is underway for the Intermountain West, the Northern Plains, and the Upper Great Lakes, peaking in intensity through midweek and lingering across parts of the Northern Plains and the Midwest until this weekend. In southwestern Texas, you may have seen some news about it. Excessive rainfall may bring a potentially life-threatening flash and arroyo flooding through Thursday. So, a lot of things going on in Texas. I've been seeing a lot of pictures and a lot of videos that people have been sending in. A lot of bad flooding going on over there, especially in the southwestern portion, which actually one of the locations that we do cover sometimes, San Antonio. Well, most of the time, just not over like the next couple of days or so. They're actually under a flash flood warning right now. So that goes on. You know, that flood watch that they have goes on all the way through Thursday, almost going to Thursday night there. And that's all that I can see here in terms of the chat for tonight. I don't think anybody else has any other answers. So we're gonna go in and reveal it. Again, the question was, what was the highest low temperature of the night for tonight? Or you can give me a location. Either one doesn't matter. And the answer was Hilton Head Island, which is a pretty recurring theme for an answer because it usually always is the highest low temperature. And then it was 76. 76 was the correct answer there for tonight. So nobody won it again tonight. I don't think anybody won it last night either. So nobody has won it in the past couple of days here. So you know, I want to see some more activity. I want to see somebody actually win it. Especially as we move into tomorrow. So hopefully we get a winner tomorrow. Make sure if you've not hit the like button yet or the subscribe button yet, please go in and do so. Also hit the share button, share with your friends, your family members, your acquaintances, people that you don't talk to regularly, because it's free, always will be free. And then also, make sure that you tune in tomorrow morning for your Wednesday morning forecast update and your Wednesday evening forecast update, 9 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. Make sure that you also know that we will be halfway through the week tomorrow. You know, after you're done with your work day, whatever you have to do tomorrow, halfway through the week. So just have Thursday and Friday left to go afterwards. And that's all that I have to say here for tonight. No emails tonight. I have not seen anything. Make sure that you check out my new website. Well, I guess it's almost time for me to stop saying new. Of scweather360.com. Again, that is scweather360.com. You can send me in pictures there for anything that happened inside of your neck of the woods, rather it be weather-wise or anything along those lines. But that's all. Make sure you tune in tomorrow. I'll be back then. Hit those two buttons before you leave if you're new.